Hello all, good day. Today we'll be discussing vintage coffee, which is a player in the coffee industry. We'll be discussing the entire business model, how are the Q4 numbers, and how does the overall deal look like. Let's get into the video. So vintage coffee, as the name suggests, it is a player in the coffee industry. Uh, let's get into the Q4 numbers. They manufacture three types of products actually. We'll get into the details later. Let's look at the headline numbers. Headline numbers: revenue was up 80% at 553 crore. EBITDA was up at 88% at 100 crores. EBITDA margins remained flat at around 18.5%, and PAT margins were also in the flattish range around 12.5%. Then comes the FY26 volume. So the FY26 volumes were at 6,541 metric tons, up 55% year on year. The EBITDA per kg, which is a metric for profitability, was also up around 20% at around 159 rupees, driven by better product mix and more packed formats. What are all these numbers? If you know the business, then it's well and good. But if you do not know, let's understand what the business exactly does. Yeah, so this is the range of the products which vintage coffee deals in. So basically there are three types of products and one is in the pipeline. First one is spray dried instant coffee. Spray dried instant coffee is the lowest of the caliber product. It has lower margins compared to the other two. It is basically the dust form. So the powder it is a very dusty product. The powder is a dusty texture, I meant, and the margins are, for spray dried instant coffee is comparatively on the lower sides. क्योंकि इसका जो flavor है, because it is because of the process of which the process of extraction of spray dried instant coffee, the coffee flavor, just around 20% of the coffee flavor remains. Okay, so that is the reason why this is cheaper. Then comes agglomerated instant coffee. Agglomerated instant coffee is one step ahead of spray dried instant coffees. Agglomerated basically means after spray dried instant coffee you vaporize it and the granules become a little larger. So the texture becomes a little larger, and as you can see in the image here, the granules are a bit bigger. Then comes instant chicory. Instant is basically it is not totally coffee. Chicory is a kind of root, and it is either sold like plain chicory, or it is combined with the coffee to get the caffeine. It does not have caffeine, so to add the caffeine impact they add a little bit of coffee and sell it. So this is a cheaper version of coffee basically. Okay, and these are the different packages in which the product comes in. So by looking at the overall picture we feel that this is a retail company. No, this is almost entirely a B2B business. So what these guys do is private label for big brands, and they sell it to the they sell it under the B2B model. They have a retail outlet, they sell through their website, but it is a very small percentage of the sales, and the management is also not aiming to grow this retail business. Now let's go into the business model. As I said, they have three products which are there, which is the spray dried instant coffee, agglomerated instant coffee, and instant chicory. And freeze dried coffee, which is the next thing which they are going to come up with in FY28. It is the best. It has the best coffee flavor. Around 80% of the coffee bean ka flavor remains in the process because it is freeze dried and not हीट ये मतलब इट इसको बॉयल करके ड्राई नहीं करते. द अबाउट थ्री प्रोडक्ट्स विच आई मीन टू प्रोडक्ट्स विच वी सी विच इज स्प्रे ड्राइड एंड agglomerated, what happens is it passes through heat, and because of this heat it loses the flavor. But in freeze dried what happens, you do not pass it through heat but you dry it through freezing mechanisms. We'll not go into the science of it, but because it is not heated the flavor remains, around 80% of the flavor remains, and it has higher margins compared to spray dried and agglomerated coffee. Now coming into the revenue model, so around 90% of the revenue comes from exports, hardly around 5 to 10%. It keeps ranging between these numbers. 5 to 10% comes from local business. 90% of the volume is exported. The export markets include Southeast Asia, Europe, Africa, US, and now they have started entering to Russia as well. So one thing which was concerning here is that around 30% of the sales comes from Middle East, and because of the Middle East war crisis, they can be a little affected, but the management says that we do not have any impact of the war. इतना confidently बोल दिया था उन लोगों ने. But yeah, so the around 29% of the sales come from Middle East as at Q3. This is number as at Q3. But this number has kept on declining. At around 35 ka range, it has come down to 29, which is good signs. So they are in the con call, in the Q4 con call, the management said that they are they are going heavily bullish in US and Russia especially, not only considering Middle East as their primary market. Then comes what is the pricing strategy. Pricing strategy matlab, the coffee prices have actually gone like decreased around 20% year on year, but still आप देख सकते हो कि इनका revenue grew around 80%. ऐसे क्यों? Because these guys operate on a cost plus model. So whatever the cost of the coffee is, they add a markup and charge it to the customers, and because of this they are insulated from the price movement. Obviously the revenue impact there will be a little, but in terms of profitability they are not impacted due to the movement of coffee prices. Then the management also says that in FY27, because of a higher agglomerated mix. So as I said, the agglomerated mix and the so in terms of margin, we can rank best as freeze dried coffee, then comes agglomerated instant coffee, and then comes spray dried instant coffee. Freeze dried, it is not there in the current year. It will be coming live in FY28. Specifically, it will be coming in Q2 of FY28, and because of this, what we can expect is in because the agglomerated instant coffee the share of the revenue will increase for agglomerated instant coffee, we can expect around 2 to 3% higher price realizations from this. Let's move forward. Now comes the capacity roadmap. Very interesting. Okay, the coffee industry, the management says that it is growing immensely. The numbers they have also provided in the investor PPT, you can have a look at that, but there is a huge scope for coffee market is what they say. Okay, currently the capacity stands at 6,500 metric tons. This is capacity as at Q3. I've factored in the Q4 numbers as well, and I will let you know what was that. Yeah, so in Q3, in Q4, which is March 2026, they have opened a new plant of 4,500 metric tons, and this includes both spray dried as well as agglomerated coffee. And the overall capacity at the year end has gone to 11,000 metric tons. And the year end volume, like the entire year for FY26, they had produced around 6,814 metric tons. So out of the existing plants, it was at 100% utilization, which is the 6,500 metric tons which I put in the first line. And from the new capacity of 4,500 metric tons, उनका कुछ 300 metric ton का volume आया है, which is well and good. Like the plant is operational. They had targeted it at Q3 and it has come up in Q4 and it has gone operational in Q4. Okay. Now comes अब ये न्यू आपका अगला केपेक्स क्या होगा. मतलब अभी तो आपने 4,500 का मेट्रिक टन का केपेक्स लगा दिया, ठीक है, ऑल गुड. आगे जाके क्या क्या केपेक्स आपका रहेगा. सो इफ़ यू चेक द कॉन कॉल, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट आगे जाके they are going to expand in freeze dried the freeze dried coffee which I said the higher margin segment. उसमें ये लोग 5,500 का मेट्रिक 5,500 मेट्रिक टन का कैपेसिटी डालने वाले हैं. एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू कम लाइव इन 2 phases. The phase 1 of this 5,500 metric tons, the entire 5,500 metric tons will be coming live in Q2 of FY28. मतलब अगले साल Q2 में ये लाइव हो जाएगा, मतलब ऑपरेशनल हो जाएगा. It will be installed in Q4. It will be commissioned in Q4 and the operations will start in Q2 of FY28. And one more set of 5,500 metric tons will be going live in the phase 2 of this, and that they have not given a target as such, but they are saying that in FY29 it will be going live. Okay, this is the the state of the capacity expansion which they are planning to do it. Out of this, so for the existing capacity of 4,500 metric tons, it was entirely funded by internal accruals, and for the new freeze dried capacity of 5,500 metric tons, that is going to be funded by a loan, and this loan they have taken from ECB, which is Europe, the Europe bank. And because of that they have interest rate of around, they say that they have an interest rate the leverage there, they get it at lower rates, and because of which they have opted for Europe as the bank. And how much loan are they going to take? So already the plant is going to cost around 550 crores, the 5,500 metric tons phase 1 I am talking about. This 550 crores, 150 crores has already been incurred and 400 crores will be incurred over the period of FY27. So FY27 में they have taken a loan of 400 crores at around 300 crores is around 8% interest rate and 100 crores of working capital loan at 6%. 300 crores at 6% and 100 crores at 8% interest rate. इसका भी इंटरेस्ट रेट का इम्पैक्ट हमको लेना पड़ेगा when we are doing the valuation, which we'll do at the last slide. Okay. Overall, how does the capacity expansion look like? Crazy, immense, right? आपका demand है और the management seemed very confident in terms of executing the contracts for the FY27. They say that out of FY27 they are going to achieve a capacity utilization of 95%. We'll discuss that in detail in the next slide. Yeah. So Q4 con call highlights. So the management has guided for a 95% utilization of the capacity for FY27. So which makes it around 10,200 to 10,400 metric tons in terms of capacity utilization for FY27. वहीं पे हो गया आपने FY26 में कितना किया 6,800, FY27 में कितना करने वाले हो 10,200. दैट इट सेल्फ गिव्स अ वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ ऑफ अराउंड 50-55%, which is immense, right? Okay, now let's move forward. Because okay, then they were asked what was the impact of the war on vintage coffee. So the management told that ऐसे तो overall में तो कुछ भी impact नहीं है, to be honest, and but however the packaging costs have gone up a little, and this all has been passed on to the customers, so they have not taken any hit on their margins, which is also visible in the numbers. The margin has stayed at 18%, EBITDA margins I'm talking about. Then comes they were asked about how has the coffee prices behaved. So the management were also confident that the coffee prices have not behaved have not been very volatile due to the war or anything like that, and they expect it to continue to remain the same. Overall, the impact of war on the business is very minimal. Let's move on to the next slide, one of the most important slide, I would say. Okay, so currently what is the 3-year, they have given a 3-year volume projection or a target kind of a thing, and based on this our entire valuation is based on this. Okay, so for FY27 you have installed a capacity of 11,000 metric tons. What is your what utilization which you are going to do? 95%. Insane. 10,200 to 10,450 is the targeted utilization. And for FY28 also they have given a guidance. So this new plant of freeze dried coffee, which is going to come in live in Q2 of FY28. So out of this, around 5,500 out of the 5,500 metric ton capacity, what has happened is around 70% of utilization they will achieve in FY28, they are saying. So the existing 11,000 they will utilize it fully 100%, and out of the new freeze dried capacity they will utilize around 70%. So that takes the total to around 14,300 metric tons of volume which they will achieve. Then comes for FY29 also they have given a guidance. They say that by FY29 we will utilize everything fully, which is 11,000 metric tons current ka capacity plus 5,500 metric tons ka phase 1 of freeze dried coffee ka capacity. I hope I have made myself clear here. So they have given a very good target guidance of for 3 years here. So the volume growth for FY27 itself is around 60%, then 40%, and then around 25 to 30% ka range. Next, let's understand valuation. How does the valuation look like here? So based on the numbers which are given here, so expect on a conservative basis, taking 10,200 metric tons as the capacity that they will be able to do. The revenue, considering the current revenue per kg, we can estimate a revenue of around 880 crores. That is a growth of around 60%. Expected volume is 10,200, volume growth will be 56%, and revenue, because of a little increase in the price around 2 to 3%, which they say because of the agglomerated mix going up, and also the operating leverage kicking in, they said that we can expect 2 to 3% higher realization. Yeah, so that's why revenue has grown by 59% and volume has grown by 56%. However, considering the current PAT margins, 880 crores पे around 13% का margin लगाएंगे PAT, it comes to around 115 crores. But one thing which we'll have to consider is the thing which I mentioned in the slide of capacity expansion, which is the loan that they are going to take for around 300 crores of loan and 100 crores of working capital loan. इसका इंटरेस्ट लगभग 20 से 25 करोड़ के रेंज में होना चाहिए. दिस इज़ माय एस्टिमेट बेस्ड ऑन द, मतलब पूरा का पूरा तो यूटिलाइजेशन एक ही साथ में नहीं होगा ना. इट विल बी अ ग्रेजुअल यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ द 300 करोड़. आप एक ही वन शॉट में 300 करोड़ का लोन तो नहीं ले लोगे, एंड दैट्स वाई आई हैव एस्टिमेटेड इट टू बी अराउंड 20 to 25 करोड़. सो द एक्सपेक्टेड like the net pat. I mean, net pat is not a number. So the pat after considering the interest cost comes to around 90 to 95 crores. So considering the current the market cap of around 2200 crores, the current PE is, I believe, around 32, and 1 year forward PE, considering the 90 to 95 crores of pat, 1 year forward PE comes at around 25. I mean, yeah, the deal looks pretty interesting, considering the fact that the management is very confident about their execution. They also said that for the FY27, based on the orders, they are very confident that 95% तो हो ही जाएगा भाई, मतलब they were that tone का confidence. Yeah, I hope they are able to achieve their guidance. मतलब a lot of forward looking statements obviously, but hopefully they'll achieve their guidance and it plays out well. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.